how many, what's the general rule of thumb for backing up their data?
I refer to it as a data hoarder. We save data everywhere. I get an email and I save that attachment on my local system, then accidentally save it somewhere else, and I'm sure the other person who sent it to me, they have it saved in two places, plus the redundancy of the backup systems that go. So we just have a mess of storing anything and everything, and
Well,
that's
I'll just
how.
say frustratingly for me, when I try to delete an email, it says archive. Well, I don't
Yep.
want to archive it. I want to delete it. Nope, it's archived. I've gone to, my smartphone, which I won't say its name because it'll leap to life. And I will say, delete unread emails because I just, if I see it, chances are I am not going to read it. I just want to delete it. And it will say, oh, sorry, I can't do that.
Yes.
And then when I take my phone, and these are small amounts of data, but smile, click, 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 click. Okay, one of these is probably going to be with nobody blinking. And then I go, oh, that's a nice one. I don't delete the duplicates because why not? And then I think that the powers that be, they like that because they can just charge me storage. For example, and they seem to know the exact timing of this. When I'm under the most amount of stress with the least time constraints, it says, hey, you're out of data. For $9 a month, you can go to Gabillabytes. And I don't want a Gabillabytes. But for me to not get a Gabillabytes, I got to go through all of my stuff and delete it. Okay. It's only $9 a month. I don't need, it's too much of a headache. That I feel describes the average person.
Yep. And we've all ventured into what would be considered the digital age and didn't know we were headed there. Right. That's what has happened over the last, 20 to 30 years of my lifetime is we in this current age and era have created the digital age that we are now dependent upon for multiple reasons that requires this infrastructure in order to support our habits, hobbies, likes, whatever it might be, right? It's just a must. And so, how do we go about continuing down the path to have the necessary infrastructure in place to support our own hobbies and habits,
I'll
right?
ask, is there a
Mhm.
virtual Mary Kondo who just kind of goes, so you don't need this. I'm throwing this away. You didn't look at it for 4 years. I'm throwing it away. I mean, is there a system that just systematically tosses your garbage data?
There are tools out there, like you take your pictures, for example, where there are cleanup utilities that will go in and disk defragmentation, and there are definitely tools out there. But for the most common people, we don't do that, right? We get our Facebook or we get our Meta, we get our social media accounts, and we just love to post, like, share, whatever it might be, and create more and more and more bytes of storage, whether it's small, but you take that across you know billions of people, millions of people, and that just adds up. and
So
and that's why, to me, your platforms, a lot of those social platforms, are free, because that's where they drive. As long as the human behavior is to continue to drive those platforms and they're free, we'll continue to need more of this
so
ability.
so this is a pie. This I'm drawing a pie
Hmm.
with my hands. What? How big a slice of the pie on data centers is from average people like you and I?
Traditionally, all of it, right? It's banks, healthcare, everything that's making our world. And that's the digital age. We like to go in, and instead of having the paper chart show up at the hospital, they can just log into the system next to us in
Well, I
the
won't I won't talk about businesses, we'll just call them their own animal. We'll leave banks and healthcare aside. I'm just
Sure.
talking about, how much of this in the machine is just average people like you
Oh,
and me who don't know how to throw things away.
boy, that's a really good question, Jeff. Is to what actual percentage of storage, if we are only using that, um, what percent of the facilities that exist or should need to exist would be there? I don't have that data point. That would be a really good one to figure out.